visionary, revolutionary. I'm a visionary, revolutionary.
I kind of forgot how it goes, but it's been so long since we did one of these. But I think it goes something like, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the D&B podcast. I'm your host. Am I still the champ? I don't think so. Am I? I don't believe so. No, I did lose. It's been a while, guys. I am your host, Camilo Salamander, and I'm sitting here with my stupendous, tremendous, McMarvelous co-host, and also the champion of the channel, Mr. KB the Mark.
It's been a minute. Like you said, it has been a minute. Can I even say that? YouTube is tightening up everything. I don't think I can say that.
I don't know. Let's try it. If not, it'll be bleeped out.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
Man, it's been so long since I heard that, man. It's been, about a good 4 to 5 months. It's been such a long time since you and I have sat down face to face and actually get to discuss wrestling. We've been busy putting out, these YouTube shorts and staying up to date with the news as much as possible, and all the other activities that we've been doing, along with the Wrestle Ramble, trying to get some new faces into the channel, for everybody. So we've been busy and everything, but it's good to just for us to sit down and have this where it all started at. It's always good.
I was going back and looking through the video history, and it's just crazy to think about the very beginning of this. Claudio Castagnoli was getting ready to go into his match with Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Yeah. That was around the time this whole thing started taking off. Now he's not in the company. Roman has both belts. AEW is looking like a C- at average, and WWE is on the way up. How the times have changed.
Oh, you got one. In the meantime, Vince McMahon, he left, then came back. I don't know if he's gonna leave again or not. Probably not. WWE has been sold. Cody Rhodes came back to WWE with the same gimmick that he had in AEW. It's just been a lot of stuff that happened in wrestling. Just from the very first time when we started this about 2 years ago, all the way to now. Just in these 2 years, a lot of things have changed. But that's enough on trying to catch up and all the small talk. Let's get into what you guys actually clicked on this podcast for. The draft that happened a few weeks ago. We seen the draft. We seen night 1. We seen night 2. We know who the free agents are, and we kind of seen the first 2 weeks of Raw, SmackDown, how the show is going to operate with the new roster. So, with that being said, we're going to discuss the draft picks. We're going to discuss the winners and losers of the show. We've seen the direction that the Raw SmackDown is putting these superstars. So we're going to discuss their direction of each member and where do we see them lying at by the end of this season. But without further ado, let's start with night 1, round 1. That was on SmackDown. SmackDown had the first pick. They picked the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, along with Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. Raw, they picked Cody Rhodes. SmackDown, they follow up with the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. And then Raw would end round 1 by picking Becky Lynch. Solid first round. It was a little shocker and everything, especially when they announced that that the Usos wasn't eligible for the draft in night 1. It was kind of confusing a little bit too. But then as the show started playing out, I kind of got, maybe it was some strings that the tribal chief had pulled just to see how they would react under pressure and everything. But a solid first round. Some of these picks was very predictable. me. I kind of figured, especially before the draft when they announced the new champion, we kind of already knew like, all right. I mean, we already know SmackDown's the home of the Tribal Chief. He's not leaving and stuff. So we knew that was going to happen, and we kind of knew too. Once we seen the stuff unravel, we seen Cody Rhodes get picked, and everybody, Twitter was going nuts. Oh, they're just gonna put the title on Cody. It's not gonna make sense with him losing to Roman and so forth and so forth. We gonna get to it eventually, but we seen how that kind of turning out. But your thoughts for round one?
Round one seemed fairly predictable, like you said. I think what really stood out is that Becky Lynch selection, especially when the Raw Women's Champion had just been drafted to SmackDown. But I guess when you're writing the show, you try not to look at it from, you try to look at it from a fan standpoint instead of I'm a fucking mark. I know what this doesn't make sense in the storybook textbook of things, but very nice to kind of make it unpredictable by throwing Becky Lynch in there as that final pick. So I definitely like that. That's definitely a swerve. That's not something that I would have expected. So well done. Well done.
Going into round two, SmackDown up with the first pick. They was pick the Street Profits. Raw, they will select Imperium. SmackDown will select Edge, and Raw will end round two with selecting Matt Riddle. Now, for this one, it was pretty shocking for one. I would say, especially with the Matt Riddle pick, with him being gone for so long, and then everything that happened with him being suspended for doing some type of drug. We still don't. I still kind of feel like we still don't know what it was. I don't think it was weed. I don't think it was marijuana at all. But it had to be something for them to suspend him and for this to be his second offense and stuff like that too. And then after he was already, the 60 days was up, he was just not being used. And then they just threw him in that middle of that storyline. So it's kind of confusing. But the fact that he was selected so high kind of feels like what they got planned for him. Especially with the news with Randy Orton, saying that he's nowhere near a return. Also with it just seemed like is he gonna be lost in the shuffle? Because is Randy Orton gonna return? And if he do return, are they gonna put RK Bro back together?
Yeah, very surprising with that Matt Riddle pick. I definitely agree with you, but I think if you're gonna bring them back, or if Randy comes back, and that's a big if Randy Orton comes back, do you want him in a tag team with Riddle if that's gonna be? Because I'm expecting this time, unless something changes. Because the way they're making it seem in the dirt sheets is like he needs to hang him up.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's like, I'm gonna come back one last time, do you really want to put him with a Riddle?
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like that's a waste of his last go. If Randy comes back and say, I have 6 months, I damn near want him in the main event.
I also think, especially if anything with the dirt sheets have taught us, especially these past year, 2 years, that you can't always believe the dirt sheets. I mean, that was the same people that, reported that Brock Lesnar had walked out when Vince McMahon left and retired, but he ended up showing back up, and that seemed like that was not the case at all. And it's just a lot of things, but I will say, I don't know, unless I hear it from Randy's own words, then I believe it then. But today it still seemed unbelievable. Like Randy Orton have to retire, and it's not like he had like a major injury. It's just, if I'm not mistaken, he's out due to like over the years of performing the RKO, right?
They said it was his back.
Yeah, because he lands on his back every time, just like the twist of fate with Matt Hardy. Eventually had the years is just constant doing the move, and so it take a toll on your body and stuff. So that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what it was. He didn't really. It wasn't like he didn't have that back injury in a match. It happens like outside, just over time, if I'm not mistaken. But just something like that. I don't think so. I just think he's really just taking, just not milking it, but and just enjoying his time home and stuff before. Because I think so too. If anything, this might be Orton's last like run. Because out of anything, Orton been full time since he came into the WWE. I don't think he ever been part time. So I think this is his last full time run, and I think he's gonna milk being at home until he's ready to come back.
I've always pitched the battle for 17 with both Randy Orton and John Cena in about 2 to 3 years time at WrestleMania. I've been pitching that since the beginning with basically a retirement match for both, but winner beats the record.
I think that if that could be billed as, how they built Brock Roman for the last time as the greatest of all time match.
That would be.
I think that would be because it's a record-breaking match, either or.
But we don't give them what they want. Honestly, seeing if LA Knight turns out to be as big as we think he's going to be,
Cash in.
Randy Orton hits the RKO. LA Knight runs down. You make him as big as Seth was, possibly even bigger just because of the circumstances. Boom, and they're both retired. They come back on the Monday night after Mania, do they farewell.
I mean, they is saying that LA Knight is like the front runner of the Money in the Bank winners and everything too.
Exactly. If that's what they're planning, that's what I would be planning.
Yeah.
That's what I would be planning. But, if that's what they want to do, then LA Knight doesn't need to win it. I would say keep him busy as long as you can. If you have to throw him into a world title program, that's fine, but he shouldn't win it. I would make him the biggest heel since Seth. I don't even want to say Seth Rollins because they cheered when he did it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he would be the biggest heel to really win it in such a dramatic fashion that would put him up there in the upper echelons of cash-ins with Seth Rollins. Because there was, when you think of cash-ins, I think like Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler when he beat Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
I think of
those hype moments.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna boo. I think they were hype. They were cheer. And honestly, the reason why is because it's a difference when like a Seth Rollins or Dolph Ziggler is cashing in versus when a Randy Orton is cashing in, because Money in the Bank is the purpose of it is to build the next star, to make a star. So when you're making that star, it's going to get the hype because it's like, yes, it's a person we've been wanting. You're doing it, yes. Dolph Ziggler, yes, it was a perfect moment. Even with Seth, that was perfect. We never seen that at Mania. I don't think nobody's ever going to get the reaction that Edge got. Nobody. I don't think so.
I would say, like I just said,
it's gonna be either a cheer or no reaction. I don't think nobody's gonna boo. Edge, he got that. I don't think nobody can top that.
I would say they probably would cheer just because it's LA Knight, but it would be just a nice way to put him into that upper echelon. But this is all becoming on Randy coming back, which I hope he does, because I thought he had about a good 70 before he could really be like, okay, I'm going to transition to part-time. But that RKO takes a toll, especially when you hit him out of nowhere.
Yeah. Coming into round 3, SmackDown will choose the almighty Bobby Lashley, with Raw picking Drew McIntyre, SmackDown picking the OC, and Raw will end round 3 with picking The Miz. Now, I was shocked with 2 picks on this. Kind of 3. I'm not shocked by the Bobby. This whole round I was shocked by. Because, honestly, instead of Matt Riddle going second round, they could have went to Bobby. Bobby deserved to be first, second. He had a hell of a one. Hey, ever since the pandemic, Bobby had a hell of a run. And everything. This whole push has been tremendous. I was kind of shocked with the Drew McIntyre thing, with everything that's going around, all the rumors and everything going surrounding, Drew McIntyre. The fact that he was picked so high and everything, and he still hasn't been on TV since Mania. AJ Styles, the OC, them going so high with AJ Styles coming off of injury, and they haven't been on TV. With AJ Styles been gone, they haven't really been showing the OC like that. Gallows and Anderson, they haven't been showing both of them like that since Styles been off of TV. But that was big high. The Miz, after what happened at Mania and then all this stuff that been going on, him being picked so high, I'm like, I don't know. I was kind of confused with it though. But then at the same time, some of the rosters kind of staying the same except for a few picks here and there. Like Bobby going to SmackDown, that's kind of new. AJ Styles, the OC back on, but not the OC, but mainly AJ Styles back on SmackDown. That's kind of a new pick though. But everything else is kind of borderline the same.
You know what I think they're setting up? I think they're setting up for the same way they did the Bloodline. They're going to set up for a specific moment when the OC has all the gold.
Am I the only one that's not liking me and him with the OC? I don't see no type of connection. I just really feel like they just put her with them just because they was feeding with the Judgment Day at the time, and they needed a woman. So they went for a shocker and they didn't know how to return her, so they just went for a shocker and did it that way. Is that just me?
I was confused because, they're Bullet Club.
She doesn't fit.
They're Bullet Club.
She don't have no. It'd be different. She had like a ties to it, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. She don't have no ties to the Bullet Club at all. I don't believe so. So it's like I would like that better for it to be. If you was gonna do it and you was gonna just have a woman fill the spot, all fingers was pointing towards Liv Morgan.
I think she was going through her spooky phase at that time.
Yeah. So I'm like, boom, but I'm like, but if you gonna do a signee and everything, I think, you should have tied someone who has ties to the Bullet Club and would made it make sense and stuff. Rather if it was a wrestler who dated a wrestler who was with the Bullet Club at the time or something. Just someone who has ties to them and stuff. That would have been interesting to me. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's not fitting for me.
No, I agree. I am a firm advocate because you need to get, like you said, correct us in the comments if we're wrong. I'm not sure, so I'm not gonna say either way. But if you were looking to even remotely scratch the surface, you could have just called up Blair Davenport, New Japan. Boom, you got a New Japan connection.
Yeah. Some type of connection.
Yeah.
I agree. I believe round 4 should have been round 3. Coming in with SmackDown choosing Damage Control. Raw would choose Shinsuke Nakamura. SmackDown would choose the NXT Tag Team Champions Ava Fire and Isla Dawn. Isla Dawn, my fault.
Isla Dawn.
And Raw would choose NXT Women's Champion Indy Hartwell. These two were shockers. I mean, we kind of knew that NXT stars was going to get drafted. That's 1. 2, it was a shocker just the fact that they drafted champions, and not only champions but newly crowned champions like that. Indy Hartwell, I can kind of get it because she did suffer an injury. What was it, the week prior and stuff? So I kind of get why that. I get why that pick happened, but because I agree with you, because after the draft you said, off the record, you said it made sense because it gave her time. The transition from NXT to the main roster, it would give her time to heal up the injury that she got and everything too, versus all that pressure being on her as champion, either vacate or have to be on TV still, as champion, injured, so forth and so forth. That do make sense, but the NXT Tag Team Champions though, that didn't make sense. I'm like, why? They should have just had them lose, at Stand and Deliver, if that was the case.
They were telling the breakup story of Kiana James, Fallon Henley in the Bush and Briggs and Brooks. So it made sense why they wouldn't have lost the titles. I'm like you, still confused because why are NXT titles? But you know what? I've learned that WWE works best amidst chaos. because this last string of shows haven't been bad. To me, have I checked out mentally at some points? Yeah, but I check out mentally at some points of AEW as well. There's just some, you just get to watching it like this shit don't make sense. The Raw Women's Champion is on SmackDown. The SmackDown Women's Champion is on Raw.
That don't make sense.
The NXT Tag Team Champions, Women's Tag Team Champions, are on SmackDown. It makes absolutely no sense. But they're putting people, you're seeing people, new faces, and you can never complain about new faces.
Yeah.
So give them all the credit. They want to get them out there. I mean, you've been sitting here saying Alba Fire, Kaylee Ray's been ready for the main roster. Indy Hartwell's been ready for the main roster. Other people who come up later on have been ready for the main roster. Why are they still down here in NXT?
What a way to bring them up, but what a way to bring them up at the same time. SmackDown Lowdown show, there was some after picks. Raw, they will choose the Viking Raiders, Dexter Lumis, Candice LeRae, Maximum Male Models, Zoe Stark, JD McDonough, Apollo Crews, Natalya, Sonya Deville, and Chelsea Green. At SmackDown, they would choose Top Dollar. Well, they would choose Hit Row and Lacey Evans. And then they announced some free agents with Omos and MVP, Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, and Von Wagner. Also, ring announcers will switch. Samantha Irvin, she went to Raw. And Mike Rome went to SmackDown. One thing I don't never get is, especially on Raw, SmackDown, it was even, with the picks and everything. It was back and forth. But Raw got the most picks on Monday. I get it, it's a longer show, but damn, well, it's like that every year. It's like SmackDown always get, not SmackDown, but Raw always get the most people and now everything. Even on the Lowdown show, how on SmackDown Lowdown show Raw get the most picks? It's SmackDown Lowdown. How do you get the most picks?
That's your company. That's your company.
That's
your company. I just go with the Raw's 3 hours. You need more people for more stuff, but you end up always using the same 10 to 15 people every show.
I don't know at all.
There are people getting 2+ segments a show.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what you can do.
Why
with
everybody got a goddamn talk show?
I mean, the only real talk show is the Grayson Waller effect.
I mean, the KO show.
Who's that guy?
Then you got what else? There's a couple of them. Didn't Baron Corbin have his own? Or Happy Corbin?
Salamander. The only reputable show is the Grayson Waller effect, featuring Grayson Waller.
Everybody has a show. And I think the show should only go to, it should only be one. Because what happened to the time? Well, I think back then it was a couple. Carlito had one. Well, that was early in his career. He had one, but Chris Jericho had one too. But it was only a few of them that had one. It's like now everybody doing good, but I think only the best talkers. They should, but it should be one where it's like instigating type stuff. But going into night 2, round 1, night 2, we got Raw selecting SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, and then SmackDown will pick Austin Theory, the United States Champion. Raw, they will follow up with picking Seth freaking Rollins, and then SmackDown, they would end their first round with picking Charlotte Flair, and then Triple H will shortly announce that Brock Lesnar was a free agent. Now, I don't get why they announced Brock Lesnar being a free agent so damn early. They announced everybody else being free agents after night 1. Why they couldn't wait till after night 2 to announce that? That makes sense. I mean, when it comes to that draft, their rules gonna be very clear. Like they say, coming up to it, they be like, everybody is up for grabs, and then the night of the draft, oh, you're not eligible till night 2. Like y'all never clarified that. And then what makes you qualify to be a free agent? They don't announce that either. Like how some people WWE already said was free agents on night 1. The draft not over yet. They can still get drafted on night 2. So how's he free agent yet? I don't get it. It's something. It's not really clarified. It's not clear enough. But you know, Charlotte Flair. We already know it's been reported that she's taking time off. Why you draft her so damn high? I get you still want to start her when she come back. She's gonna get a pop regardless. She's gonna get a reaction regardless when she return. What was the point of drafting her so high? You could have easily drafted an upcoming star or a person who was on the roster who just didn't get that shine, but you can get them that light now by drafting them that high. Because we already know that top draft picks is going to be the ones who are going to be mainly on the TV.
I think the question you need to ask is why she listed as a face. Why?
She's Charlotte Flair.
That doesn't make me like Charlotte Flair. I know your history with your last name. She
lost.
Like you.
She lost to Rhea because going into that match, she became face because the reaction of the crowd didn't get over onto Ronda. So when she returned and she won the championship, she got the pop that turned her face. So she was face going into her feud with Rhea Ripley. Rhea is the heel with the Judgment Day. Boom, Rhea won. She put her over. She's the face. She's the face leaving. So that's why we don't see her as one, but she's a face.
I never became a Charlotte Flair fan off a babyface route. It was knowing how passionate she is and how she's willing to do anything to get to the top, and she'll step on anybody who gets in her way. That's what makes me like Charlotte Flair. Yeah. Not babyface Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, you got a point.
You like to say the women should do everything. Since she's a Flair, I need some color in that hair.
Mm-hmm.
I need some color. I need to see you not trying to tap out to the figure 4.
WWE would never do what AEW do with their women. They would never let their women blade. Never.
And that's why we don't get iconic matches with Charlotte Flair.
We could.
Because we could if we see the color in her hair.
Just imagine the matches that did happen and just a little blood. It would have made it 5 stars. I would say one would be the Hell in a Cell match with Charlotte and Sasha Banks. That's one that deserved it.
Yeah.
Especially if Charlotte was, because she came out victorious. That was in Boston, right? Yeah. And the Charlotte standing up as winner, bloody.
I would say the week, but I want to say that was either the week or 2 weeks before when they ran it in the Queen City. And it was a false count anywhere, and Sasha made her tap out. I don't think she should have did it there. There are so many chances where you could enhance these matches. But that's not to say that color is needed. There are just instances where it could have pushed it over the top.
Yeah. Going into round 2, Raw, they will have the first pick. They will pick the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with SmackDown picking the Usos, with Raw picking the Judgment Day, and SmackDown in the round 2 with picking the LWO. So this is solid first round. All stables been picked. This is a round full of stables.
I just don't understand why they just couldn't get all the Judgment Day. They act like Rhea's not part of the Judgment Day.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I mean,
I think they just wanted to give us make a scare, but dude, make it seem like you wasted a draft pick. You could have just picked the whole Judgment Day with the first pick, and then use this one to pick another stable. So
somebody else.
Y'all could have picked LWO, continue the feud and stuff.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm just. Is it me, or is the LWO just not clicking for me?
The thing is, because there's no establishment yet. And I'm gonna explain why. I don't think there's no dominant leader yet. I think that's why. Because with LDF, it was Santos Escobar. Then they partnered up with Zelina Vega and stuff. And then Ray, Santos basically giving Ray his flowers, and then they end up partnering up, and then now they the LWO. But who's the true leader? We don't know. I don't think they know. I think that's why it seems like it's like something's not clicking there, and that's what the thing is. You know, they got the thing, they got the Eddie in the beginning, so you got the hype for it. And I think the thing is too, I think it's the tag selection. I don't think they're working, and the reason why is because it wasn't enough build in for them on the main roster. Like NXT, we knew about them. Yes, there was some beats. You feel me? But when they got drafted up, it was more focused on Santos and not really on them. So we really don't know them like that. And like I say all the time, like, you know, the average WWE roster viewer, they watch Raw and SmackDown. They don't be tuning into NXT. So that's why we really don't know them like that when you come on. So it's like they don't get that reaction and stuff. So I think it could, like, they should switch it up. Either have Santos with one of them, or put Ray there with one of them and stuff. Boom. Or say fuck it and have Ray and Santos just to give it that push or something. I don't know. That's what I think they should do. Zelina, they should keep her as just being just a mouthpiece for them and helping them get over and stuff. But I think the thing is for the LWO, if you're gonna have, like, we clearly see it's not working, right? But we clearly see they want to keep them together. This is probably gonna be Ray's last thing before he leaves, because he was talking about wanting to revamp the LWO by time. But I think they need to get deeper, for one. For two, they gotta turn heel. I think they have to turn heel. The reason why, Ray never been heel. In WWE, you never seen Rey Mysterio heel. Never. He was heel in WCW, but we never seen him heel in WWE ever. So, Ray turned heel, and you can do it now because Dominic on another show. So they ain't even got to cross paths right now. Ray turned heel, LWO turned heel, to get it to work. I feel like now it's not gonna work because, you know, if you think about Eddie's character, Eddie, it didn't matter if he was a heel or a babyface. He did what he did, and it got over. He still cheated, still lied, heel or face. It got over. So it's like, I think that's what's missing, because like y'all trying to please too much of the crowd, and you know, all right. But it's like I think it's just a misconnection. It's like the only connection y'all have to Eddie is Rey Mysterio. So what's the connection there? That's why I feel like Ray has to play a bigger part into the LWO, establish a leader and stuff. If that's gonna be Ray, and you're gonna pass the torch to, like, not your son, but you're gonna pass the torch to Santos, and then establish that. You know, establish a true leader. He's your right hand man, and then everybody else follow in line. And then that's what you can add, you know, upcoming stars and stuff that got the Mexican heritage and everything too. Hey, that's what I think.
So let me ask you this: I like where you were going. Do we bring Dom in later on? Let's just say the Judgment Day, throw him out, and he goes back on his own. Does he join the group? And, you know, he works his way up from the bottom, races, you know, fuck that. We done been through some shit. You gotta earn my trust back. And he works his way through the ranks to take down his dad in a retirement match and control of LWO.
I don't know. I would say I could see him joining, but before he joined, there would have to be a feud again with Ray and Dominique, because there has to be this that WrestleMania match wasn't it. Dom got to get back, and then we got to have one more to settle it all. So that have to happen first. It could be boom, next match. Let's say that first encounter since WrestleMania can happen. Dom get the win with the help of Rhea Ripley. Boom. Third match happened. Let's say they build this for Survivor Series. Boom. Ray finally wins. Boom. And then he let him in, like, you know, I still love you, type stuff. And then offer him a hand since he know he Brian Dolo. Because I see for what WWE's doing with Dominique, they trying to build him to be the next Eddie. I think the Swerve is they gonna build Dom to be the next Eddie, and Santos gonna be the next Ray. Because if you think about it, in this position, because eventually we already know, especially now that the talks about adding JD Madonna to the Judgment Day, we already know Dom is gonna be out his way, gonna be out. It's coming soon. And Rhea, I think we see it now, like Rhea, when she looking to Dom, she melts. So I think if he get kicked out, I think Rhea just gonna leave, and she just gonna follow him. And we see what happened after he started off Dom. He started off with his dad, boom. But then he got into the stable, and then he going solo with Rhea. What happened with Eddie? He came in with a stable with Chris Benoit, Demon Link on them, and Perry Saturn. Boom. Left. Solo. Who he was with? China. Down. I think that's where they're gonna end up going. They're gonna ride that till it don't work no more. I think they should do a little mixture of Eddie and China with a little mixture of Edge and Lita and stuff, like storyline wise. Now keep it PG, don't do the bad stuff though, but storyline wise, it's a lot they can do with it.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
But round 3, we got Raw. They will pick the women's tag team champions with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. SmackDown will choose Asuka. Raw, they will choose a New Day without Big E. SmackDown, they will choose the Brawling Brutes to end round 3. Round 4, we will see Trish Stratus against drafted to Raw. SmackDown will pick Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Raw, they will choose the team of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. With SmackDown ending round 4, they're picking LA Knight. I ain't got really know. I would say the only great pick about this one, LA Knight, but I really think he should have went up one more. The Brawling Brutes or the New Day. He could have took any of those spots, to be honest.
I mean, it's LA Knight. Sometimes I tell you all the time. Sometimes it's just good to have a steady hand.
Yeah, but I'm saying he should have been picked higher.
Yeah, you can make the argument, but then when you look at the names of the people taken ahead of him,
everybody who's over right now, he's top 5.
I'm not going to argue that, but you know how your company works. You know how the company works. That's not what they're going to do. If that was the case, you would think it would work like any other draft. You put everybody into a pool. Typically, it's going to be the people who would be the most over would literally be the picks. So it'd be like Seth Rollins, or like Cody 1, Roman 2, Seth 3, Gunther 4.
I'm arguing that he got picked in round 4. Round 4, last pick. I'm arguing he could have went round 3. Because round 2 was solid. It was all stables. Round 1 was pretty solid and stuff too. I'm like, it's round 3. The Brawling Brutes or the New Day. And SmackDown was going to land him. They could have picked LA Knight over the Brawling Brutes. They could have picked the Brawling Brutes this round. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying sometimes it's just better to have a steady hand. Why did the Miz get drafted?
Yeah, that too.
Sometimes it's just good to have a steady hand.
But if they was going to get landed on the show anyway, they should have just got drafted so low. Oh my.
I feel you.
But going in, I think this was very predictable when they announced the ring announcer switching. But Raw, they would pick the team of Braun Strowman and Ricochet. SmackDown, they would select, I always struggle saying her name, but
Shotzi.
Thank you. Raw, they would select Bronson Reed. SmackDown, they will pick up another NXT call-up with Pretty Deadly.
Yes, boy.
Solid pick.
Love them. Love them.
Solid pick to end the 5th round too.
Listen, Pretty Deadly is the future. They are the future. They are
a mixture of fucking. It's like Zillman and Tyler Breeze and Fandango.
Right, it's everything you want in a tag team. You want them to go out there and cut a promo, they'll cut a promo. You want them to put on a great looking match, they can do that too.
You want them to host a pay-per-view?
They
a
can
premium
do that
live
too.
event? They can.
Pretty Deadly is everything. If they're not good,
Charismatic.
that too. If they don't turn out as big as I think they're going to be, they will be a steady hand. They are WWE lifers. I really don't see them going anywhere unless the creative is that atrocious, which I don't see how you get Pretty Deadly Raw. They're annoying. They're everything that you love to hate in a heel tag team. Love that pick.
They can be what they try to make Deuce and Domino back in the early 2000s. Yes. Just more flamboyant.
Right, and that's gonna get over. Look at Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Loki, if Seth Rollins goes heel, exactly, bro. If Seth Rollins goes heel, which I think I would do that at Night of Champions, but they're on SmackDown, so you can't do it anyway. But if you could, that's how I would have him beat AJ Styles. Put them together with the Drip Gods.
I mean, they could do a trade.
They could. I'm just saying that's a group for Seth Rollins to lead, and with the World Heavyweight Championship, might have a nice little stable he can take into the next 2 to 3 years.
Right. The last round that was on Raw, we seen Alpha Academy getting drafted to Raw, Rick Boogs getting drafted to SmackDown, Raw taking Katana
Chance and Kate Hart.
Bro, I hate that they changed their names. Her name was Casey Catanzaro. And I forgot her name. Sorry, L. I forgot her name before. Dang, what was her name?
I can't think of her name.
It was on the tip of my tongue. Let's start with an L. I remember.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
But SmackDown that ends round 6 with picking Cameron Grimes, which is another NXT call up. The last 2 picks was NXT call up, might I add. And SmackDown, nice way to end Raw with a solid pick with Cameron Grimes. Very underrated too. I think he's gonna be one of the ones that's like, he gonna start off, comedy gimmick, but eventually they'll take him serious.
I mean, he got a 5-second win over Baron Corbin.
Yeah,
starting him off strong.
It's Baron Corbin.
It is Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin is the last person to pin Roman Reigns.
True.
Starting them off strong. Listen, sometimes being a steady hand can put you in high-profile matches. Nobody had ever kicked out at the end of the days. Look, you got him a WrestleMania match with Drew McIntyre.
That's true.
Listen, Baron Corbin might be the. Listen, people hate Baron Corbin, but he's a damn good wrestler and he knows what he's doing. There's a reason they put him in high-profile shit. But remember, he was also supposed to be a WWE champion.
Got a point. After Raw, on Raw Talk, they will take Akira Tozawa, Angel, and Humberto.
Where have they been?
At home. Chilling.
Where have they been?
Dana Brooke, Emma,
in this year.
Yeah. I was gonna say just Jinder Mahal group. Johnny Gargano, Nikki Cross. Why he didn't get drafted? That's crazy that he didn't get drafted on TV. But Nikki Cross, that lets you know that they ain't had nothing for him. He just returned, but like nothing for him. And after that Miz storyline, it was like, alright, they ain't had nothing for him after that.
Listen, they're trying to reunite the Way, but the Way will never be the Way because Austin Theory's out there.
It's gonna be a new form just without him. Candice LeRae, Dexter Lumis, Johnny Gargano, Andy Hartwell,
Uncle Tommaso.
If he returns to him. He's a free agent, I believe. Odyssey Jones, Piper Niven, Riddick Moss, Tegan Knox, and Xia Li. With SmackDown choosing Grayson Waller and Tamina. Free agents was announced also with Baron Corbin, Shelton Benjamin, and shutting out Cedric Alexander, Elias, and what's his name?
Zion Quinn. I've been high on Zion Quinn, and I've been so wrong. But maybe that's just the booking. He was a
what's that sport? Lacrosse, not lacrosse. Rugby, yeah. He was a rugby star.
Bro, when NXT 2.0 was just getting off the ground, they had Zion Quinn on like the first 6 episodes, and I'm thinking like, okay, I like how he looks. He's got a nice look about him. He looks decent enough in the ring.
He's not related to the Anoa'i's, but he is Samoan.
Yeah, I just thought he had a good look about him. He looked like a typical WWE superstar. Then boom, he disappeared.
You know what they can do, right? They can do what I've been saying. They can build another like Samoan dynasty to compete with the Bloodline. And it's basically like, you know, Wakanda, like how the Black Panthers was, like basically, you know, we from the same area, but it's like my tribe don't like your tribe. It could be a few like that. I think that'd be dope.
It would be dope.
It really cause a separation, because I know every wrestling fan, when you see someone Samoan with the Samoan tattoos, you automatically think they're part of the Anoa'i's. So this will be a clear understanding that there are more families that are Samoan and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I think that would be a good feud. I think the perfect one would be what was it?
Tamatonga?
Yeah, Tamatonga and his brother though. That could be a good one.
I heard they've been working on a handshake.
Yeah, I heard he been out of basically off a contract for a while and shit. Yeah. He just been working handshake deals. Hey. I could see it though.
Hey, you never know.
I could see it. But that was the draft selections. Now you know, fast forward to the past 2 weeks. We seen what happened on Backlash. We also seen that first week, that second week, and how things going. We seen, at Night of Champions, the finals is going to be Seth Rollins representing Raw, AJ Styles representing SmackDown to compete to become the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. Your thoughts? I mean, Cody Rhodes, we thought Cody was going to be there. He's not. He's going to face Brock Lesnar, apparently.
I absolutely 100% knew Cody Rhodes wasn't winning that thing. It made no sense. Second off, why would you bring back AJ Styles for him to lose? Why not have Edge lose? Because Edge can take a loss and still be Edge.
But how many losses you gonna have him take in a row? He meant like every profile match he lost. For real.
It's Edge. He won the feud last time with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, but he just came off of a loss with the Judgment Day. I mean, we consider that a win. I don't know. I consider the Judgment, because they still send it to we still seeing Finn and stuff. We ain't really seeing Edge like that, so I consider him. And I consider, Finn, he took them 14 stitches, took it like a champ. He was on Raw the next day.
I mean, the Hell in the Cell.
He lost the biggest match after Women's Rumble to Roman. I mean, his big profile matches since he came back. His very first match, Backlash, lost to Randy Orton. He's been losing his big profile matches.
Okay.
I don't think he's.
I hear everything you're saying. But the last time we saw Edge, he won a match. He's one up. He won at Mania. He can take a loss to Seth Rollins, who he beat in his feud the last time.
I think you need to build get a couple more wins under his belt just to make that win feel because like this, like, when was the last time we seen AJ in this position? Since SmackDown Live days.
I couldn't tell you the last time I saw AJ with a world championship.
Since SmackDown Live days, and we seen how jumping it was back in 2016. It was jumping. We ain't seen it. We basically, all fans been begging for AJ to get back in that position. And now that we see him able to compete there, there's only high hopes for him on SmackDown. That's all I can believe, is only have high hopes on SmackDown, even if he don't win.
So you bring him back to lose?
I mean, you're right, but that might put him in a high position to compete with Roman and stuff. And he got backup this time. He got the OT.
Do we honestly believe?
He ain't gonna win.
Do we honestly believe they're gonna put 1,000-day reign on AJ Styles?
No way. But it's just the fact that it's gonna be like it could be like Bloodline versus OC.
Cody Rhodes still has to get to SmackDown. No.
He's on Raw.
He has to get to SmackDown.
He's not gonna go to SmackDown.
So then, Who takes the belt off of Roman?
Bobby Lashley. That was the whole point of that pick.
That.
They're gonna build Bobby up. I'm telling you. I've been saying Bobby ever since Roman became Universal Champion. I've been saying Bobby is the one to do it. I've been advocating this and stuff. Even when they had a little triple threat with Big E, Bobby, and Roman and stuff. Even though they lost the match and stuff, Bobby stood tall, and they've been teasing it since then, but they had never executed on it and stuff. I mean, he thought like Bobby is truly the only person for real who Brock faced, who actually made him. Well, I would say Drew too, but who actually like manhandled Brock Lesnar. Like even when Roman did it, it felt like he was really like. Cause we seen it so many times too, and we seen the same predicament every time. But it was more like you could tell Brock was doing the job. But as an actual believable, it was Bobby and stuff. I just felt like Bobby's the one. Because anybody who got drafted on that SmackDown roster, if you leave Bobby Lashley out of there, there's not no believable one. It can't be Grayson Waller.
Absolutely not. Grayson Waller should be nowhere.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. So everybody who got drafted to SmackDown, you take Bobby out of there, there's no believable one. I would say just as a feud, just you know how they do the one-off feuds before they finally build to him losing. I can see that AJ like the Bloodline versus the OC, that type of feud leading up to it. And so they got the LWO. I can see Ray being in that position one more time and shit like that.
Well, he already destroyed Ray like Hell in a Cell during the pandemic.
But I had my weak ass son with me. You feel me? Now I got people. You feel me? I got people with me. So I can see that as another stepping stone before they reach to that point. Because I think eventually they said plans is off, but we already know plans might circle back around and stuff. And they might circle back around and pull that switch with the Hurt Business, with MVP, Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, Omos, plus Carmelo Hayes.
And don't forget Trick Williams. Trick Williams.
WWE's plan, they wasn't bringing him up. They was just Carmelo Hayes. They was just going to add him to the stable with Omos and shit. It was going to be deep as hell. And to be honest, I'm not for sure if Omos was really going to join. I think they was just really talking about it and reuniting the Hurt Business and adding on Carmelo Hayes. I believe that was the talk.
See, my thing is, I don't want to hear an MVP promo every week.
I mean,
and I don't want to hear Bobby talk. He's an okay talker, but there are times.
You don't think Melo can talk?
Melo can talk, but you know what makes Melo great? Trick Williams is as the mouthpiece for Carmelo Hayes makes him makes him one of one.
Maybe they could move him in like some type of special way. Like he's not an official member, but he's just there with Carmelo. Like this is Carmelo's dude. Like
no, bro,
Melo's vouching for him. Like he's not a member of the Hurt Business, but this is my guy.
We're African American. We know what that looks like. Yeah, my homeboys don't mess with you. But because I mess with you, mess with you. Nah, bro, don't do that. But just take out Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. But they not doing that.
If you reunite the Hurt Business, you gotta bring back the original members. You can do something like that where they reunite them and then they end up like kicking them out in like a segment or something, like how they did with The Rock with the Nation of Domination, how they end up kicking out Farouk and everything, and The Rock was like, nah, this is my group and stuff now. They can end up doing something like that and stuff. Like they just reunite them for the moment being, and then end up bringing them two in, replacing them with, you know, they boom, kick them out, you know, hit them with the spear and then put both of them in a hurt lock, boom, and then Omos chokeslam them or whatever, boom, and then next week they addressed it, and then they bring out Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes as the replacements. And then we already know what they're gonna do. If they're not gonna turn Trick Williams to a wrestler, they're gonna put Carmelo Hayes and Omos as a tag. And it'd be some dope shit. See Carmelo do like a frog splash off the shoulders of Omos.
I mean, it would be dope. I mean, but I think you're right in most aspects, but I think you're kind of looking at it wrong. Instead of like Trick Williams, yeah, he came in with Melo, but MVP takes him under his wing, shows him the business side of her business. So now he becomes a trusted confidant of MVP while still keep maintaining that relationship with Melo. He could be the dude, like, you know how the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo, he has stacks and he'll send out stacks to do stuff. MVP might want to say, hey, go holler at the Street Profits. Tell him I want to chat with him. Be his assistant, his confidant, setting up the moves.
What if? You just gave me the idea. What if they do that? Like, they kick, Shelton Benjamin out, and then they add 3 people.
Who's the third?
Street Profits and Bianca Belair. They turn heel.
Gold group, give them all the belts. Every belt.
Well, at this time, if they do that, that means the Bloodline will have to turn face. But if that's the case, Roman could drop the title.
Nah. You make them all free agents because MVP negotiated. My people are not on rosters. They show up whenever. When we show up.
If that's the case, they gotta negotiate something for them. That's 4 big stars. The Street Profits, Bobby, and Bianca, who got drafted. That's some hell of a negotiation you gotta pull to get them to release.
It's MVP. That's what I'm saying. This is what Trick is learning.
But I'm like, if they already all on SmackDown, it makes sense. Only people free agent is Omos and MVP, which it makes sense that they can go to either or show.
Exactly.
But they don't have to be free agents. That's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying,
yeah.
But why not have them free agents? Because what if Bianca, what if you unite the group? Let's just say Bianca loses the women's championship. Carmelo ends up losing, so now he's free. He's free to do whatever. MVP negotiates. Boom. I got these 4. Introduce a newly reformed Hurt Business, like you said. Kick out Cedric and Chef. They're no longer needed. You bring in everybody we said. What if just one day, because I will honestly have them wreak havoc on both shows. But MVP only sends the people when they're ready. So Bianca could just be chilling. She came off a long title reign. She's just chilling with Montez and Angelo, getting them hype. Let's just say 4 weeks to 2 months after they debut, she's like, MVP, I want the Raw Women's title. I want that shit back. I'm negotiating because she's a free agent. I don't want to just contain them to one show because then you run into the original Bloodline bullshit that we're into now. But if they're free agents, they can just show up whenever. She might show up win a Raw Women's title on Monday and won't show back up for like 3 weeks. But she on SmackDown because that's where she want to be. It's wherever they want to be. I mean, you got to make this group seem dominant enough to do shit like that.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. You're right though. That would be hell of it though, cause I think this next star, like the person that Roman lose to, it has to be someone big. If you're not gonna have that single star, cause like it's only 1 or 2 ways you do it. It's either the way we said, you building up another stable to go up against Roman to compete, cause he got the numbers, so you're gonna have the numbers. So you gotta have the numbers on the side as well. So it's either that or Roman get cocky enough and go out there solo dolo and tell everybody not to come out and get involved at no matter what. And they end up coming out anyway, and this person just aware enough and just watch so many damn matches of yours that he's aware when the run is going to happen and was able to time it to stop it properly. It's only 1 or 2 things, and I'm really pretty sure it's going to be the first thing. It's not going to be the second.
See, when you put it like that, you make it seem like it should be somebody from within the bloodline, like main event moves.
It might be.
I know how these matches go.
It might be. It might be a thing like he beat everybody, and then let's say that dude, they end up doing this stuff with Bobby, and then he end up beating Bobby, and then he get to the point like, bro, there's nobody that can beat me, and then it end up being a thing where he like, calling out the next person. He like, step to the phone. Nobody show up. Like, Bloodline's in the ring, and Roman just sitting there looking at the entry ramp, waiting for somebody to come out. And then the crowd get hyped and stuff, and he's just looking like, ain't nobody there. But we've seen that Jay has took a step up and just waiting for him to turn around. And then as soon as he turn around, you see it. It can happen that way too.
Is that a super kick, or does he stop just to let him know?
No, I would say just let him know.
Like, and it stopped right there at his chin.
Yeah, but then like Roman was about to do something, then the rest of the bloodline members take a step forward, and then he's like, "Alright, I see what y'all on," type stuff. Like, yeah, like him and Paul Heyman back out the ring and stuff, and then like the brothers basically like he got the blessing for the rest of his brothers to do it, and that's what that was. It was like you could do all that in silence. You ain't got to say nothing. And that itself will sell. It will sell. It will have to go off.
I mean, of course, starting off Friday night.
No, I would say end it. That's the way you end the show.
The air like that?
Yes, that's right. Yes, have us talking until next week. Yes, that's enough right there. Cause like just that could be a whole 10-minute segment. You just have Roman talking with most of it and shit like that, and then he just basically was like calling out the next person, like, who is it? Boom, he just going off like at the ground, like, who is it? I defeated all of you. Who's gonna step up? Who? And then the crowd. And we this whole time we see Jay, like, he just look at Solo and look at Jimmy. And then they gave him a nod, and he just took a step forward. Boom, crowd going off. He turned around, he see it. He like, oh, so you really gonna alright, raise both titles, and then give them to Paul Heyman as if he's gonna do something, and then they take a step forward, and then he back off, and then they back him and Paul back out the ring, going back to business. Next Friday, boom. I don't know what they do then. That's all I got for right now. Come back to the next episode, and I got some more.
Yeah, that's fire. That's a 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's a 10 out of 10.
Because I think the only way to end the story, if you had Jay, if it's gonna be Jay, you gotta have Jay dethrone him. Not only dethrone him, you gotta have him take over the bloodline as well. That's it. Have him run the bloodline the way he wants to. Because you know they're gonna have him and Sammy revamp their relationship. Because I think that Sammy KO shit, that's not gonna. KO is gonna turn on Sammy. That's gonna happen. We just waiting for it. But when that happens, and Jay end up running the bloodline, he's gonna bring Sammy back, because he's gonna tell him, like, you know, especially when he turns on Roman, he's gonna be like, you know, you was right. It's up this whole time. It's up, and he gonna leave it up in the open, like, you know, with the title on him, like, you know, basically a position, you know, home is always open for you. Give him a shirt and just walk off and just leave it in the air. Boom.
You know how...
And if he accepts, they'll have a whole ceremony actually making him not honorary, but actual Uso. And I think that the WWE will go as far as changing his name for sure to Sammy Uso.
It is nice. You know how WWE always does their weird, like, one or two people in Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
What if
like
Jay,
they don't really deserve to be there. Like,
yeah, but you're like, why are they there?
Yeah.
What if it's Jay? What if Jay's winning?
I don't think so.
No.
Nah. Cause I think right now WWE, they are stuck, because I'm thinking after Mania, boom, and then you had to run the rematch, boom. Now that you got, you know, Solo and Roman going after the titles, if they win the titles, they have. I think the only way to do it, if Roman's not going to hold them, and he have fucking 4 titles on him, if he's not going to do that, then I think the only thing for them to do is for them to be like, you know, I had to do something that you couldn't do. You the one I hold accountable. Talking to Jay. And so he gave his title to Jimmy. And he's like, these are new Usos. Basically kicking him out his own group. Like, he's not out the bloodline, but he's not like, I don't want to see you tag with Jimmy no more. Like, basically kicking him out the group, not the bloodline, but kicking him out the Usos. Like, you can't, you're not tagging no more. You know, you want to be a hothead, get things done, yo, baby. I'm gonna see you there. I want to see you do it. And now we got Gunther. Gunther's on Raw. He had this title. He think he's me. Take it.
Why don't you just do that with Austin Theory on SmackDown?
Oh, they on SmackDown. You right. You tripping. I'm tripping. Yeah.
Which still makes sense because he's had that belt for a minute.
Yeah. So yeah. That'd be even easier. I think Gunther would be a hell of a challenge, but that's even easier. Austin Theory, yeah. But yeah, they could do it that way. He become the United States champion. Then eventually he drop it to Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
Cause by that time, if they do it this way, by that time Jay be ready to move on to the main event. You feel me? If they do it right and then they end up doing it the way I said and stuff, by this time he already been like a 2-time United States champion, probably is ready to step up to Roman to do that.
So basically, Roman has his belt for what, another year and a half?
Man, the way you look of it, I don't even. The way he's looking, Roman, he probably ain't gonna about to face nobody till August, till at least SummerSlam. That's why they put him in this tag, man. They gave him something to do, put him on TV, but he ain't about to face nobody 1-on-1 till at least SummerSlam.
Is he winning?
At SummerSlam?
No.
Tag?
Yeah.
Maybe. If he lose, I don't know. I see. It's Sammy's first time in Saudi. They so-called made up and everything, but I don't see Sammy getting a victory in Saudi, for one. For two, I don't see Roman. I don't see them going. I don't see Roman stepping this low. And I'm not trying to basically poop on the tag division. But Roman had been in the tag since 2015, 2013, something like around that area.
When he won the tag title with Seth Rollins.
He had been in there for so long. So for him to stoop this low, basically, to get a title to basically prove a point, I don't think he's going to lose. But if he do lose, I think either Solo because neither of them could really take a pinfall, because the only pinfall Solo took was the hands of Cody. Solo ain't never took a pinfall yet. And even on NXT, he was booked fucking strong. So it was like, neither of them could take a loss. I think the only thing you can happen is we gonna see that the crowd's probably gonna boo soon. Sammy. KO gonna turn. Cause I think this whole time, this during the promos and stuff, Sammy's the one talking. KO is just simple, like, I'm trying to fight. That's it. But when he talk, just peep KO, he just looking. So I think he's waiting. Like he's gonna turn on him. It's a never ending story. Every time they get together, it's a never ending story.
That is true. He is his fight forever.
Yeah. They always break up to make up. They gonna break up, get back together like a couple years from now. Be cool for a little while, then break up again. But it's always end with KO turning on Sammy. It's gonna be a hell of if it's the other way around. They turn Sammy heel this way and have him turn on KO because he can't dethrone, because he can't beat Roman in Solo. So he took the easy way out. I don't know.
I kind of want a babyface.
You know how they do this.
I kind of want to babyface Sammy even more. Is there a stipulation that says that is Kevin Owens under a stipulation where he can't challenge for the Universal title again?
I'm not sure.
If not, and a good way to tell this, if that's how you want to do it, you can't have KO turn heel, and then he comes out in this promo that Reigns gave him a Universal title shot Friday.
That's why he did it.
And that's why he did it.
Yeah, I can see it.
And then this would be the time where what the last man standing match should have been, where you get that 2.999. And it's not there.
I don't know. I feel like they just... There's so many different ways you can do, but there's so many different ways It's so many right ways you can do with this, and there's so many wrong ways you can do with this too. Because the right way might be the wrong way as well, right, within this match. Like, it's so tied down. It's like this match is carried with saran wrap. Like, it can bust through at any moment. I don't know. It's nerve-wracking, I will tell you that. But, one last topic before we head up out of here. Out of the draft, who do you think is going to be the breakout star? Give me a single star, a women's, and a tag.
Okay. Single star. single star who's just gonna really to dominate this draft from everybody that was picked, or you just mean like a breakout?
This breakout, like who's gonna become a star out of this?
Out of the draft.
Yeah. Or you can see on their way to stardom, like that next level, like the next year or two. Like they gonna have a good year. Like you know how Bobby began pushed since the pandemic, like he's been relevant and shit like that. Like who you see singles, women's, and the tag.
Gotcha. Breakout star to me is gonna be LA Knight.
Okay.
I think they've already started. They're seeing what they can get. They kind of don't want to overexpose him, so they're being incredibly cautious with him, which I can definitely understand and appreciate. Definitely don't want to wear him out too early. Tag. I'm actually going to go women's tag. Katana Chance, Kaden Carter. I think they can be pillars of this women's tag division if given the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you let them get over, they got a party gimmick. They're going to get the crowd moving. People are going to love them. They just appeal to everything that you would want. Male tag team is going to be pretty deadly. I was just gushing about them earlier, raving about them. 100%. I think this is the tag team of the future. They're going to be with this company for life. They have found a home. And if given proper story, as long as the story isn't dumb, stupid in a way, kind of, you don't really want to make them look weak, but you don't want to make them look super strong. You kind of want to find a solid ground.
Mm-hmm.
But not making them seem like they're just a solid tag team.
Mm-hmm. And your women's.
That's a good one. You know, I'm gonna go Baszler. I'm gonna go Baszler or Rousey. I think they're gonna take over that.
No, you gotta pick one.
Oh, one?
You already picked the women's team.
One. That's tough. Let me see the list one more time. Cause I already know how hard they're about to push Rhea. I know they're gonna push Rhea to the limit. Let me see. That's a tough one. You know what? Io Sky. I think they're getting ready to break up Damage Control. I think they're starting to see the error of their ways. It just didn't work. We could have been doing something else with Bayley. It just didn't work.
I think mine is going to be male. We seen eye to eye. I'm gonna say LA Knight. Tag. I'm just gonna pick one tag. I'm gonna pick Shannon Baszler and Ronda Rousey. I think they're gonna be a staple because this women's tag division has some type of a curse to it with injuries and just bad luck happening around the titles. I think they're gonna revamp this new women's tag division and stuff. And then just the women's star, Rhea Ripley. Playing it safe. Rhea Ripley. I mean, like you said, we know she's gonna get pushed tremendously, but I think we're gonna see her this year, cause we see with her getting whipped. Cause she came on to the main roster, you know, she was great run. Lost to first came. Did she win the Royal Rumble? No. Charlotte did. Charlotte came. That's what Charlotte won the Royal Rumble. Challenged Rhea Ripley. Boom. Lost.
She came back and beat Asuka.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
And then
they lost it in a cash-in to Nikki ASH.
So as we seen her first run with the title, it was kind of dull. You feel me? But that first, like before she got the title, that first run on the main roster was stellar. And then she got the title, was kind of dull, lost it. Then it was kind of like, was there, like you could tell that they want to do something with her, but they just didn't know what yet. Then this pairing with the Judgment Day is what got her over the bridge. And then this new thing with Dom, that's going to take her to stardom level. Like, she about to become a household name, I believe. And I think that's happening this year. It's going to happen this year. With her becoming the champion, her dethroning Charlotte, that's only the start, the beginning of it. She might mess around and, like, I think now what Roman did, he did something dangerous. he start, well, not really dangerous, but it could be dangerous. But he introducing long title runs. That was just good because we need to see that back in WWE. So I'm like, second to best, it's Walter. He pushing a year of holding it. Ain't nobody held that Intercontinental title in this not this generation, but this generation for that long. Even in the early 2000s and stuff, I don't think nobody had held it since that long, since like the 90s or something, for over like 300 days since like the 90s. So yeah, and then I think after Walter is Austin Theory and stuff. No, Bianca Belair, she up there and stuff, because she had it for like over a year at this point. Yeah, Bianca Belair, I think she probably got Walter beat and stuff, but yeah, so I'm like, these long title runs, I think that's what's gonna be the new staple. And so like, a dominant character like a Rhea Ripley, you have to hold this title for at least a year. I think a year minimum, it gotta be the new staple.
I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't book towards a 6-month to a year-long reign, especially of your main title. Now, if you want to do, 4 to 8 for your secondary titles just to keep it interesting, that's, I get that too.
Yeah.
But, if you're booking a main title holder, barring injury, they should be looking to hold that belt 8 to 12. 8 to 12 months.
Right.
And if they still over after that, then we can explore 12 to 15.
Right.
15 months, I'm kind of like, we're going to have to play it month by month.
I'd say no title run should be, if you a series, like if you a person, especially like this my like let's say mid-card title, if you the person who I'm going to keep it at mid-card, who's going to be constantly on TV, you shouldn't hold the title nothing less than 240 days. That's what I think. If you hold it less than that, then you like that person who I gave a push to, but it's like floating between, that mid card to upper mid card. Like if you my upper mid card, if you hold the title, it's 240 plus, 240 days or plus or more.
I agree. Long title runs are needed.
Yes, it is. Both promotions.
Yes.
Both promotions,
Yes.
especially as of late with the TNT title and the AEW tag team titles.
I think they're about to. Honestly speaking, I think they're about to fix that. I think Christian Cage is about to beat Wardlow. People will complain. He'll hold it. Christian will hold it for a year because the synopsis of the situation is everybody wants Christian Cage to win this thing. Everybody wants Christian Cage to win this thing. I mean, why not? It just goes back to my point. Sometimes it's just good to have a steady hand.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a lot of people have been. I want to give everybody that walks through that AEW door a chance. And I remember when Double J came through and everybody was like, "That's not gonna work." Like, oh my gosh, why is Jeff Jarrett on my television? I'm just like, bro, it's watch. And he gets tremendous heat. You know what's crazy? They had to input a boo track for when Brock Lesnar put Cody through the table. They weren't even booing that like that. They were sitting there just looking. I think they were more stunned than anything. I think stunned silence would have been better anyway. But you just got like, boo, and I mean, it's in there. It's boo. I'm like, what is this? They're not even booing. But he's out there just getting genuine heat. People just love to hate Jeff Jarrett.
I just hate how they alright, so the Acclaim, they won the title. Who the Acclaim won the title for? All these titles, then they won it from no, it wasn't Swerve in Our Glory. It wasn't him. Who had it after Swerve in Our Glory?
I think they did take it off Swerve in Our Glory.
You sure?
Yeah, because Swerve turned heel.
So if that's the case,
No, Swerve left Keith Lee.
Because FTR had another title run within that time, didn't they?
No.
It did. That's what they got. They did.
Let me see.
Are you sure?
Let me see. Yeah, I think about it. Swerve in Our Glory, I want to say took it off the Bucks. And I feel like they took it off, the Acclaim took it off of them.
You sure?
I'm pretty confident. Because they were supposed to do it at the pay-per-view.
Right.
They were supposed to do it at the pay-per-view, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Acclaim have never been so hot." And they were asking Tony Khan, like, "Do you ever think about pulling the chains mid-match?" And he had to go off like, "Bro, my decisions are my decisions. What I say goes." And then they ended up doing it, what, like a week or two later?
So, Swerve and Our Glory.
Took it off the Young Bucks.
They took it off the Young Bucks. The Acclaim took it off of them. The Guns took it off of them. FTR took it off of them. And then Jay Lethal and Double J, they about to take it off.
No, they're not.
They are.
They're not.
And all this is it happened within like 8 months. All these title reigns.
Yeah, that's fine. You know what? I feel where you're coming from, because you know why? Because you live in a world
Even
where
with the TNT titles.
you live in a world where your company, your favorite company hijacks titles. I got a guy.
I mean, I love a champion on TV.
Listen.
Like Brock Lesnar started this BS though.
Listen, I got a guy who hates AEW as much as you, loves WWE as much as you, and for about the last 8 to 12 months, he's been telling me, bro, this bloodline storyline that is played out. I'm like, it's the greatest story going on.
It is.
It is the greatest story right now. I don't see how you can feel this way. He's like, people aren't getting opportunities, and he just started naming off names: Edge, Daniel Bryan, Badio. That's just 3. I can keep going. Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn.
I mean, but honestly,
I'm just racking them all.
If they got that chance and that push, if you take everything that happened from the storyline, from the bloodline storyline, and gave them the people that push, honestly, do you think their storyline would be more interesting than what had transpired with the bloodline?
No.
At all.
No, I mean, the bloodline is the
I think
greatest story going.
that's the best story of this whole era.
Yeah,
like
I would say
each era has a story. Like, the 90s, the Attitude Era, it was Stone Cold and McMahon. That was the main story. Through there. The Ruthless Aggression Era, I mean, you can say a couple. You can say, the Undertaker, everybody trying to do in his streak during that era, or you can say the Triple H era, where birth of 2 stars, the Evolution, and all that stuff. Every era has a main story that carries that whole era. And I would really say that at the Ruthless Aggression era was really the Undertaker streak, because to end that decade, we got a match of a century with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
2 of them.
Yeah. But I'm like, that last one was the one to end it. That was like in 09, I believe.
Yeah, but you can't give credit to the sequel without giving credit to the first.
That's true.
Set it up.
That's true. But every era is stuff. Just like the beginning of the PG era. Who can forget the Summer of Punk? Like every story is a big story that carries that era. I think the Summer of Punk carried through the PG era for real, cause that was a big thing. And then the other era was like the biggest story. What I would say was the Authority story, I guess. If you say that.
I would say after that, the SmackDown Live, everything going on. That was
and the biggest story around that time, I would say, is AJ. The house that AJ built. That was like the big storyline around that time.
The champ that runs the camp?
Yeah, and then now this new age era is the bloodline story. It's one that carries everyone. I mean, the 80s was Hogan, whatever Hogan was into. For real.
It's the greatest story that's been going on. It's absolutely fantastic.
But guys, go ahead and leave us a comment below. I want to know you guys. Let us know who you guys think is going to be the breakout star. Let us know who you think is going to be a breakout star in the women's division, the men's division, and the tag division.
Oh, one more question, my bad, before we get up out of here. Who do you think is the winner? Who won?
Who won the draft pick?
I would say NXT.
I would say Raw, all them damn picks.
I'd say NXT.
NXT? I mean, yeah, because they got, out of everybody, they got the fresh start. For real. You think about everybody else, just added on people. They the ones that actually starting off fresh. Clean slate with at least 2 titles. That's clean.
Yep. I mean, you got Braun Breaker tearing it up down there as a heel. you basically killed two birds in one stone, but technically not really because one of the birds got away because the NXT tag titles are on SmackDown. So it doesn't make sense.
It's gonna find its way.
It's gonna find its way.
Unless that's their way to take the NXT Women's Tag Title away from NXT and then implicate a tag title on SmackDown since it's a tag title on Raw, and not Rhea Ripley, but Shayna Baszler and Ronda might win that and stuff, and then they can just turn the NXT Women's Tag Team Champion to like a SmackDown Women's Tag Team Champion, and then now they got Raw Women's Tag Team Champion. So they got a SmackDown tag team title and a Raw tag team title. They might do the same thing.
I mean, that makes so much sense, but do we need another title on the main roster?
I mean, it's not really. I mean,
it is, but it's not.
It's not really adding another title. It's basically creating a title and separating it to two. That way, you honestly, the only people who's intertwining with the both shows is the free agents. If you do it that way, where they can go freely. If you do that way, I don't think they're gonna do. I don't think WWE's smart enough to do it that way. They just having them people that way they work in between as of right now, but eventually they can get signed to a roster. Eventually we gonna start seeing Brock on SmackDown constantly, and then we gonna be like, okay, he signed to SmackDown, because it's like, okay, you a free agent, but it's like you on SmackDown every week. You ain't even popping up on Raw, like you on SmackDown. And so I think they did that storyline with Brock before, saying he's a free agent, but he only showed up on this show. So it's like, how you a free agent? You only showing up on Raw, like you not a free agent. You a Raw superstar.
It makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to know who you thought won the draft overall. I go NXT fresh start and these rookies.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're going to get a lot of TV time. So
yeah, professionally, I will agree with you on that because they do have a fresh start. But me being Chameleon Salamander, I would say Raw because they got so many goddamn picks. Like, if Raw is fucking trash after 3 hours, how? You got way more picks than SmackDown. You got all the stars. You got Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes. Shall I go on? You got way more stars.
Can I be honest with you?
There should be no reason why you should not. Yo, hours 1 through 3 should be boring. There should be no reason.
Can I be honest with you?
What's that?
And you're gonna be like, oh, you done turned the corner. I mentally check out of Monday Night Raw. Typically about 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, me too.
I typically mentally depart AEW Dynamite about 8:45.
It's always, cause to me, it's the middle of the show that carries the show to me. The opening is always good of Raw. The only show that I can really stay tuned into, beginning to end, is SmackDown. And, I mean, you have to. I think honestly, to understand that, you have to go back episodes before. SmackDown holds something dearly to my heart. Cause I don't know. Growing up, SmackDown always came on free TV, so I always had beef with anybody who kept up with Raw, like, cause y'all had cable. So I'm like, y'all was bougie. Like, y'all got 3 hours and stuff. We was 8 to 10. Y'all 8. Well, what wasn't it? At first, it was 7 to 10, and then they ended up moving it to 8 to 11. Then I swear they used to come on at 7. Like, they moved it. They first did the 3 hour thing. It was an hour earlier, and then they ended up staying in an hour later. Ended up doing it from 8 to 11. I swore it was 7 to 10 before.
We have to look into it.
I swore on
back.
everything.
We have to look into it and get back. But we was actually just trying to get out of here.
Yeah,
my bad.
right.
I just have a question.
But yeah, Raw. I think Raw won. I mean, they still got the Judgment Day too. There's so many stars they got. There should be no reason why it's boring and stuff. I typically tune out in the middle too, like the opening of the show I'll be into, and then like opening maybe the first match, maybe the second match. Alright guys, before we head up out of here, go ahead and leave us in the comment section below. Leave us, you guys, y'all thoughts of the breakout star for the males singles, women's singles, and the tag division. Let us know below. Let us know also the winners and losers of the draft. And also some of y'all predictions of what you think is going to happen throughout the year with these new rosters. But, once again, I'm Chameleon Salamander. It's KB the Mark. Simply, we some fucking marks that love sports entertainment. See you in yet another 4 months.
4 months.
I started with nothing and came out a king.
Yeah.
I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings.
I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings.
It's been me and my team and we chasing the green.
Me and the team and we chasing the green.
My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.
Don't ballin' for free, yeah.
My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.